You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hello, everyone out there, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth.
It's a big weekend.
Yeah.
It's a big weekend in the world of nerdery. Comic-Con International, a.k.a. San Diego Comic-Con, going on as we speak. We're recording this in the midst of this year's Comic-Con.
Day 3?
So we know a little bit of news. We probably don't know all the news. Some of it is literally breaking as we were recording this. So I don't know. We might have some fresh takes. We might have some stale takes, but
Might have some fake takes. We don't know if what we're reading is even true.
Yeah, that's true. News is flying out of there, and we've got some fun ideas planned. So stay tuned. In the next few episodes, we're going to try something we've never done before.
Yeah.
Maybe haven't done in a very long
time.
So we got a lot of fun stuff planned. Speaking of fun stuff planned in comic books, Marietta, Ohio, July 28th, the River City Comic Arts Festival is coming up. So if you are local, if you are one of our amazing listeners from our hometown, please come down to the Lafayette from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Check it out. It used to be the River City Comic Con. So that's still the website, rivercitycomiccon.com. We've got about 40 tables, all artists, all creators, all crafters, cosplayers. Everyone there attending is someone who makes their own stuff. So we are celebrating the makers and the creators and the people who go out, are inspired by pop culture, and create it themselves. So we hope you'll come out and support. We got local people, it's amazing how many creative, talented people are in this area. And we got some people coming from Columbus. We got a couple artists from Cincinnati showing up. So people are coming in from out of town. So the least you can do is come out and support them. Say hey to everybody. That's
the least you can do.
That sounded a little
bit.
Sorry, I should probably not have said it that way. But yeah, they're working hard, and it's not an easy thing to do. To go out and put your art out and say, hey, take a look and judge me. What do you think of it? It's a brave thing.
Hey, we do it every week right here.
The least you can do is come out and judge them.
The least you can do is listen to this episode.
I regret that already. That's going to come back to haunt me. But hey, admission's only $1. Kids 10 and under are free.
It's the least you can pay.
It is literally the least you can pay. Because I'm not making change. I'm not using coins. We're sticking to the paper money. And we're also doing a costume contest. It's a pretty novel. I've never heard anyone else do it this way, but I thought it solved a few problems. The Lafayette's not the biggest venue, so it was hard to come up with a costume contest to stage an area.
This was your idea?
It was my idea. I came up with it.
And you also deemed it a pretty novel idea?
It was pretty novel. I've never heard anyone else do it, so you define the word novel for me. It's the least you can do.
It was the least he could do.
So we are doing a costume contest that's not really a contest. It's we have judges that will be there all day. We'll call them secret admirers. So we're giving away over $200 in prizes.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah. You're being judged.
Yeah. Pretty novel name.
So normal costume contests, you have to show up at a certain time. You have to register. There are categories like, are you the best villain, or are you the best this, that. This, just wear your favorite costume. And we're going to have people around the con, and when they see a costume they like, we're going to say, that is an amazing costume. Bam, you get a prize right on the spot. We're giving away $20 gift certificates to a lot of local shops in the area. We had a lot of sponsors. You can see them all up on the website. Very generous. Some of the local comic shops, game stores.
This podcast?
This podcast is a sponsor. Indeed. So, hey, please come out.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for several years. This is a different take on things, but I'm excited about it, and I think it's going to be a fun time. So, hey, we'd love your support.
We're all going to be there, so come out. And you want to talk about what you hate about this podcast? Feel free to do that. It's the least you can do.
It's the least you can tell us to our face.
Judge us.
I know you don't always comment on the Facebook, but you can tell it right to our face.
Right.
So, speaking of comics, this is what this weekend's all about, baby. Comics.
How can you read this? There's no pictures.
Well, some people use their imagination.
Well, I must hurry back to my comic book store where I dispense the insults rather than absorb them.
It happens all the time. Read a comic book, okay?
All right, again, I said we're kind of in the midst of this weekend. News is pouring out of San Diego. Trailers have dropped. There's been a lot of live streams of the panels that are going on. My best source of news, I go to Schmo Mo News on Facebook. SCHMO News. She aggregates everything that's going on in San Diego. You get all the big headlines, all the big posts of what's happening, so go check them out. So in the comic side of things, we'll just burn through a few of these things. They've the Year of the Villain is what's going on in DC at the moment. It has been revealed, not quite 100%, but they promised it's leading something even bigger in 2020, and the rumor is another crisis. So whatever Lex Luthor and the villains are up to right now for the rest of the year, this Year of the Villain, it's going to have big repercussions next year. Coming up in November, part of that Year of the Villain is called Hostile Takeover. And DC's doing 22 issues that month, all tying into this Year of the Villain with acetate covers. We're getting cover gimmicks again. 22 books.
Acetate.
Acetate.
Thing like lenticular.
It's...
So make a funny noise when you...
I believe it's that, like, the you can, like, see through it. It's very thin, filmy kind of thing. Remember Marvels back in the 90s? I think that was kind of the acetate cover.
Gotcha.
DC's putting out Legion rings with the Legion of Superheroes series starts. So retailers will have cool plastic Legion rings if you buy their book. Marvel Zombies Respawn. They're bringing the Marvel Zombies back. It's going to start with a one-shot in a couple months, leading to a mini-series that's coming up. So Marvel, that was a big property for them for a while. Haven't done a new one in a while.
And
so
now that Walking Dead has ended.
Right, we have a zombie gap we have to fill. There's a Spider-Verse miniseries starring Miles Morales and many of the ones, the characters from that popular movie from last year. We're finally getting around to making some comics about them. 2099, that is coming back into comics. And if you do the math, 1939, the start of Marvel Comics was 80 years ago. What's 80 years from now? 2099.
Wow, man.
So they're bringing back these 2099 characters.
Can't wait.
Marvel's also doing a Rise of the Skywalker prequel.
Ooh.
Which I think should have just been the last movie, I would assume. Right?
Yeah.
Then
well,
we've had
yeah. Okay.
We've had 8 other technically we've had 8 prequels to Rise of Skywalker, but they're going to do a 4-issue miniseries leading up to the big movie. It's the official tie-in. And Diamond's getting new boxes. This is the most thing I'm the most excited about. Diamond Comic Distributors, where I get comics from, have been hounded for years about all the damages they get. How many books every week are crushed and smashed and bent and torn. And they wheel out these fancy new boxes. Oh, they're amazing. They've got a crush test of 3,200 pounds or something. I was reading all the details. I'm so excited about these new cardboard boxes. All right, but that's just for me. So there might be less problems. Your retailer might not be as annoyed every Wednesday when you go in to talk to them. All right, so
Anybody
really...
else have any weird kinks like that?
Yeah.
It's going to have a flat bottom.
Oh my god!
It's going to have a flat instead
bottom.
of the flaps come down and form creases, and the books are kind of fold in on themselves, so the bottom's going to be flat. It's going to have handles on the side that help distribute the weight. Oh, these are sexy boxes.
Wow, wow.
Sexy boxes.
All right, so in the comic book world, it's weird because like this is all about things ending right now. So there's a lot of San Diego news about all exciting new stuff starting, but there's a lot of stuff ending, including Vertigo.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Vertigo line is going away. We've had it. If you go back to the 80s, Swamp Thing, Hellblazer, Sandman, these were DC branded. They weren't, when they started, they weren't Vertigo, but these kind of more mature, more kind of darker, mystic sort of books all had a similar tone to them, so they branded them under this Vertigo. And everything since then, it's had more huge iconic hits than probably any other line in comics. Preacher, Why the Last Man, Fables, just timeless books. And DC's changing course. Some of these new uppity ups don't think it's necessary, and this Black Label idea.
Yeah.
They think that's kind of the wave of the future. So the idea is to do it rather than imprints, which I believe we talked not too long ago. DC Zoom, DC Ink, these books for younger readers, those are already off the table. No more of those. It's going to be, there's only 3 tiers now. DC Kids is readers 8 to 12 with content created specifically for these middle grade ages. Just basic DC is for ages 13 and up, and this is the DC universe proper. This is everything in continuity. And there's DC Black Label, which is more like 17 and up for older readers and things that are out of continuity and not tied to specific monthly ongoing. So I don't know, it's sad. Like, Vertigo was hugely important to the comics industry and myself personally, just as a reader. It kept me going in those later, I was getting older and not as into comics, and you discover these Vertigo books, and just, it meant an awful lot. So right after that was announced, I believe it was less than 2 days later, they announced Joe Hill is getting a horror imprint at DC.
New Vertigo.
So they said no more imprints, everything is simplified, there's only 3 things. Oh, but if Joe Hill wants to write some books, we'll let him. Wow. So this is Stephen King Jr., I'm sure he likes to be called. Author,
That's
creator.
why he got rid of the last name, so you would call him Stephen King Jr.
Seth's favorite author.
He likes to say that, too. That's not my favorite author.
Creator of Lock and Key. Joe Hill. So comes from a horror, what do you call that? Pedigree.
Yes, that's the word.
All right, so he's doing a book. There's 5 books coming in this imprint. Basket Full of Heads is the one he's writing. It's about a girl fighting with home invaders and using a Viking axe that has magical powers. So it's Home Alone meets
He heads into the Vikings. No, that's all I got.
Mike Carey, the writer, and Peter Gross, illustrator, doing the Dollhouse Family. It's a young girl, when she was very young, was gifted a huge, beautiful, intricate dollhouse filled with magical dolls that were a family, and she comes back as an adult, and these things are still around. What? The Low Woods. It's a Pennsylvania mining town affected by a mysterious plague that eats memories. There's another book called Daphne Byrne. This one's written by Laura Marks and illustrated by Kelly Jones, classic horror artist. Did a lot of Batman in the early 90s.
Nightfall.
Yes. A girl discovers a strange, insidious entity within her body. Set in 1800s New York. And then Joe Hill, the other book he's writing is called Plunge. Is yet to have an artist named. It's a highly advanced research vessel in the Arctic Circle went missing and reappeared 40 years later with its distress signal blaring. So, kind of a John Carpenter Thing kind of vibe. Something mysterious happened in the Arctic. And they're doing every one of these books. In the back of it, there'll be a 2-page installment of a story called Sea Dogs.
So you have to buy all of them.
Right, if you want to get it's serialized. You got to come back. I'm sure it'll be once a week. So
Least you can do.
It's about werewolves infiltrating the British Navy. So it's these soldiers infiltrate in the daytime, and then when night comes, they're werewolves. So that'll be in the back of every issue, the rest of the line. So DC knows what they're doing. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're rebranding and trying new things, so go for it.
That's a very positive take. You must really be excited about these boxes.
And they're going to arrive in pristine, mint condition shape. You wouldn't believe it.
Oh.
All right, so some other things ending. Alan Moore's final issue of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen came out this week. And so he's retired.
He's officially retired.
He's officially retired for
he's
27th time.
I believe there's still some stuff he had written before that's in production, or maybe hasn't come out yet, but he's apparently no more new comic books from Alan Moore. This is it. He's stepping out.
Huh.
So thanks.
What's a door hit in the butt?
Thanks for all you've done for comics, Alan.
That's what I meant.
Mad Magazine going away.
That's pathetic.
Has been running since 1952.
Yeah.
Hugely influential humor magazine.
Everybody used to get that, right? Like, used to just try to be able to buy. Can I get it? I mean, it's not like I had a subscription, but it was like, oh, Mom, can I get? Come on. No, you can't. Freaking Mad Magazine.
Because it was like dangerous. It was
Oh,
you know,
bad.
it was something that was
Absolutely,
edgy. That,
yes.
You know, it was, you were pushing
It's
boundaries.
like, well, I know she's going to say no to the Playboy, but maybe I got a chance at the Mad Magazine.
And then the biggest ending, Walking Dead. Surprise the world. Issue 193, and that's it.
Yeah.
The series is over.
They had already solicited like 2 months after that.
Yeah, there have been 3 issues after that. 94, 95, 96 have all been in the catalog. They had covers. They had blurbs written up about what the issue was about, and it was all to throw us off the scent that this was it. You picked that one up, didn't you, Seth? That's on your list.
Almost didn't know anything about it.
Somebody eulogized it on Facebook a little bit. I didn't want to, but it broke Monday with retailers. There's some retailers who get the books on Monday. I don't know how. They probably got those boxes before me too. But so it started going around like, guys, this is it. Order some more. So Tuesday it confirmed. People started getting them, taking pictures of it. Like, no, guys, it's not a rumor. It's really ending. So Kirkman wrote a nice essay in the back, and it made sense. It's it's his book. He can do what he wants. It's creator owned.
Yeah.
So, and it's him basically saying, I was as far as I was gonna go. Like, I didn't want to just rehash this over and over for years to come. And it's always been very mathematical. Every 6 issues is a story arc in a trade paperback. Every 48 issues is one of these giant compendiums. So issue 192 would have been the end of the 4th compendium. So he thought, if I write the next issue, it's got to go. Yeah. I got to do 48 more because we can't just tack on 6 and then not quite fit into a compendium. So it felt a little rushed to me. It felt like it ended faster than it maybe should have.
But even he probably wants to admit he probably would have went a little further.
Yeah. So it's crazy. This was it was still
just
my best selling
money
book.
In the garbage. Like, you could totally have made millions more dollars.
Yeah. And that's the immediate fan reaction was, well, he'll just do a prequel, he'll do a spinoff, he'll do this, he'll do a Negan story, he'll do this. But he could have been doing that all this time. Mm-hmm. He could have been milking this. And he hasn't. So I don't know that he would. Why would he not? I don't know that he would go back to these characters unless something really strikes him. He hinted at the end like, oh, there might be some Negan still in the future. So he kept the door open, but I personally don't see it. He's got more money than he'll ever need.
Right.
And I said it's my.
I thought it was a cool way to go out. I back him up. I'm glad. I like it.
And it was a good issue.
I've always liked it. I've always liked the series. There's been lulls here and there, but I always look forward to reading it and enjoy it. It's one of my most consistent pulls, but I like the way it went out.
But I don't want to be greedy, but this will hurt the industry. It's maybe not as powerhouse as it used to be, but it is my number 1 seller every month. I can tell you the number of people who they come in the first Wednesday of every month. They come in, buy Walking Dead. Like, that's all they have been buying. I have a couple people that was the only book on their pull list. Not that they maybe don't like other books, but this was the one. They might pick up something here and there, but like, they have very little reason to come to the shop now.
Right.
Luckily, 2 of those people I have turned on to Saga. So they
good call.
Yeah,
good call.
Two of them were like, well, what should I read next? And I was right there with the recommendation. But it is believed by experts in the field, Walking Dead may have literally...
You would call them box enthusiasts.
Those who know a good box when they see one. 2010, the height of Walking Dead mania, Robert Kirkman might very well have saved the comic book industry, or at least the direct market through which retailers get their books. Diamond Comics and the owner Steve Geppi, he was millions of dollars in debt. He had opened this pop culture museum. He owned a whole bunch of, he was co-owner of sports teams, just that billionaire nonsense they throw their money around. And the economy had taken a downturn in 2008. We had a huge crash, and things were not good. And this guy is a monopoly. If he was going to go bankrupt, the comic industry, I don't know what would have happened. But a lot of other publishers like DC, Marvel, Dark Horse, they don't do things exclusively through Diamond. Bookstores would get them through other distributors. There are bookstore distributors to get this stuff through. Image, however, was still exclusive to Diamond. So every volume of Walking Dead sold was coming through Diamond via Image. So bookstores, Amazon, comic shops, and when Walking Dead hit as a phenomenon, there was one stat said 1 in every 2 books Diamond sold was a Walking Dead trade. Half of their sales were Walking Dead. And you couldn't get it anywhere else. And this was just huge. So literally this book probably saved the industry as we know it. So has a huge footprint in pop culture. The show is a phenomenon, but it's, and I say, as a black and white horror creator-owned comic, to be that influential, that big of sales, that huge, we'll never see the phenomenon like it again. It's crazy, and it's going to leave a big hole. There's no other indie book right now that's even close to it. So, kind of sad, but also I applaud him as for creative rights. He can do whatever he wants, how he wants to do it, and he went out like he wanted to. So. Also, props to the artist at Charlie Adler, whose name I know because I'm a supporter of artists.
Yeah.
The least I can do is know the artist.
Remember his name, yeah.
Charlie Adler took over in issue 7, I believe, after Tony Moore left after one trade paperback. Mm-hmm. Charlie Adler drew this book every month from issue 7 to issue 193. And after a bumpy few months early in the run, was the model of consistency. Never missed a month. Was always on time. Always delivered. An amazing run on this book from both these guys. So, end of an era.
Okay. Still waiting on those aliens to come down, though. What's next?
Movies.
Save Martha! Puny God.
I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. I'm Batman.
Kneel before Zod! On the roof!
Said it yourself, bitch. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
So what's it gonna be, huh? Long sullen silence? Or mean comment? Go on.
You got me in a box here.
How's it feel to have the weight off your shoulders?
Oh, it's like I can die now. It's all led to this moment. Now, I finally finished my top 100.
The secrets have been revealed. We know the Pooh Bah's top 100 movies, and in what order.
Yeah, so there's a list there. Now you can just refer to and need a good movie to watch. You might be able to find one. I'm going to count down quick, I'll do the top 15 here. Just count down just for anybody that hasn't seen it.
It's the least you can do.
It is literally, I could do the top one. That's it. Would be the least. But let's just Empire Strikes Back was number 15. It's my favorite Star Wars movie. It could have been higher. It was a lot of these moved all over the place as I was doing this.
Not anymore. They're set in stone.
Yep, exactly. I'm happy with where they're at. 14 was Avengers Endgame. Yes, it's, is it too early to put on here?
It's still in theaters.
It's my list. I can do what I want. It meant a lot to me. 13 was Rear Window, Alfred Hitchcock classic. My fave, Alfred Hitchcock. 12 was A Cheat. I did Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair. I had both movies on there as one thing. If you put a gun to my head, I'd say Kill Bill 1. But great Quentin Tarantino movie. 11, Jeff Who Lives at Home. indie movie.
I'd never heard of that movie.
I think you'd like it, Cliff.
I love Jason Segel.
I was gonna tell, and Ed Helms.
Yeah.
And it's a really heartfelt movie. This was gonna be the one I was gonna recommend to you.
Yeah.
So if I had it right now, I'd give it to you, but somebody else is borrowing it. But great movie. I think you'd like it. So then we got my top 10. Whiplash. I love that drumming movie. You know, you got J.K. Simmons won the Oscar. Just fantastic finish to it. 9, The Game from 97, David Fincher. It's ridiculous, but I was all in when I saw it.
I need to give that one another watch. I think I only watched it probably once when it first came out, and I remember not having much of an impact on me.
Yeah, a lot of people don't love it, but it just hit me right, and I really love it.
Going on to like Fincher much more,
Yes.
I'm sure there's something I missed in that.
Probably the biggest surprise on my list was La La Land at number 8. But I love that movie, and I think it's got great ending. Again, another Damien Chazelle. 7, Unbreakable, could have been number 1. A lot of these could have. I love it. 6, The Raid. I just think it's one of the best action movies ever made. Not the best, but one of the best action movies. 5, Back to the Future. Come on, could have been number 1. Quick story, Back to the Future, just to really tell you that day. Okay. First off, we go to Baltimore.
The Russians were chasing us.
Yeah, we're going to Baltimore on vacation to visit my great aunt. Driving, I had picked up the novelization, Bob Gale. Picked up, I'm reading it. I'm like, Alex B. Keaton's in a time travel movie. What? This is the best. I'm reading the way there. I'm like, we have got to see this movie. Like, I had one mission. I was seeing this movie. 13 years old. My dad's like, well, I don't know, or we should say. I'm like, come on, it's Alex B. Keaton. It's like, is there anything in that book lead you to believe or anything about it? No. What was I going to answer? Yep, I see here. It's no problem. Go there. So I convinced them, we were going to get to see it. Leave my aunts. Leave the younger siblings at home, me and my dad, my mom, my older sister. Go there. Parents go into the theater first, go about a third of the way down, and pull into a row on the right, and I just push my sister. It's like, you always sat together, but not this time. I was like pushing her up a few rows. She's like going along with it. We get in a row on the left. She's like, what are we doing? I was like, shh, we're not sitting with them. Sat there and watched the movie, and of course there are cuss words in this, but I know this may sound foreign to some people, but we were not to watch movies with cuss words in them and things. This was PG, but PG, oh my god, parental guidance. I was the youngest one of the people walking into this theater at 13, and let me tell you, it was not cool. We watch it when the manure truck dumps and they yell, SHIT, oh my gosh. I sunk down in my seat knowing that this was not going to fly. But whatever. It was worth it. Great movie experience. Get back in the car in silence. Drive back to my aunt's house. Something I remember being like, my mom was wanting me to carry something in or something, but I had one goal. I needed to go get that novelization because I knew that he was going to go look at it, see if I was lying. Was there something in there? I make it upstairs to my suitcase. It's not there. I'm going through my clothes. It's not there. He's at the doorway. Come with me. We go downstairs. He takes me outside to the old-timey trash can, garbage, Oscar the Grouch type trash can.
Wow.
Picks the lid up, and there's my book ripped in 3 pieces laying on top of the garbage.
Wow.
Sorry out there if for some reason a sibling or, God forbid, my father's listening to this. You did it. So, face facts. It was stupid. And so I'm like, okay, I had got my lesson. How dare I read a book with a cuss word in it and take them to a movie with a cuss word in it? I love it. I'm so glad. I've got me another copy of that book. And I can't believe you almost didn't let me watch one of my favorite movies ever.
That's almost as traumatic as a sports almanac.
Exactly, yeah. Number 4, Buffalo 66. We're spanning time, Jordan.
This movie is amazing. and I can't even explain why.
I know. I couldn't explain in my explanations of it. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. What you're getting, you won't understand it until you see
it. It's glorious. And the first time I walked in your house and I saw a Buffalo 66 poster on the wall, I thought, okay,
I had passed the test.
This guy gets it.
We've been spending time together ever since. I love that movie.
It's weird. You watch it once, you may not get it. This is a movie you have to just watch and absorb and soak in. It's wonderful.
It's fantastic. One of a kind.
Wonderful.
Nothing like it. Number 3, Paul Thomas Anderson, Punch Drunk Love. Yes, Adam Sandler is in my third favorite movie. But
and an evil mattress salesman.
Yes, and I love it. It's almost like a non-musical musical because I love the score so much, but it's kind of strange. But never underestimate a comedian in a dramatic role, much like Jim Carrey in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, or Robin Williams in Dead Poets, or Good Will Hunting. I mean, they have an extra level they can take it. Number 2, my son was convinced this would be my number 1 movie, Pulp Fiction, my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. I love it. It's pretty much perfect. This is Samuel L. Jackson's greatest performance. I think just the speech he gives at the end is phenomenal. I love it. I mean, that's why we're 3 little Fonzies over here. What's Fonzie like? Huh?
Cool.
Correctamundo. And then my number 1, I posted 28 years to the day after I'd held onto my ticket stub, and that's why I started the list when I did. You're right. Because I had to land exactly.
I knew there was math involved.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't crack the code, but I knew it involved math.
That's right. From when I saw Point Break, Johnny Utah, Bodie.
I know you've quoted it before.
I was going to wear my shirt tonight.
You have a Christmas ornament.
Yeah. Utah, give me 2.
I knew you loved this movie, but I didn't know you loved this movie.
I love this movie. I jumped out of airplanes because of this movie. I love it. Back off, War Child, seriously. If I'm going through a crowd, I still do the Gary Busey. Hot coffee. I just think it's the best. Catherine Bigelow kills it. Just like creates action tropes, perfects action tropes in this movie. The chase scene, the firing in the air. I preluded to this earlier in the list with Hot Fuzz. So many movies throw love to this movie. I mean, I'm not the only one that loves it, and it's fantastic. So I'm super happy with my list.
I'm surprised, but it feels like a personal pick.
Yeah.
Not just I didn't pick Citizen Kane because that's the top movie. Like, you picked the Citizen Kane of surfing bank robbery.
That's right. It's not ridiculous at all. So that was my list. I'm glad I'm done. It's out there if anyone wants to refer to it. If there's some things that match up with some of your personal favorites, maybe you find something you haven't seen on there.
And it's all on Facebook, Ka-Pow, the Pop Culture Podcast page, where we do so many fun things like that.
Yeah. So some movies came out that we've seen we never have talked about yet.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance. So one of those movies was Toy Story 4.
You've got a friend in me. Wow, this place is amazing.
Wasn't Buzz gonna meet us here?
He must be held up somewhere. Hey, up here, Astro Boy. If you think you can take our top prize spot, you're wrong. Dead wrong. Help me get out of here. I'll help you. With my foot. Wow. Yeah. How you like that, Cheetah? Oh, to infinity and my foot. Boom. In the vacuum of space, they cannot hear you scream.
It was a biggie.
And I think a lot of people were going to be skeptical before they actually went and saw this.
Because 3 was such a perfect ending.
Yeah.
And what made it even worse, the first preview was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was
we
terrible.
didn't know what to make out of this Forky character that just looked so awful.
It was an awful trailer.
I'm trash.
So I took my whole family. It was a big outing for us to go see what we, as far as we know, is the final Toy Story movie. I thought it felt like an epilogue. I liked it, but it felt different than the other three. I think the trilogy had, like you said, come to such a perfect ending, and then we decided we were going to revisit some stuff, and I guess write a new ending for some of the characters. But I liked it. Still gave us a lot of emotion and a couple parts, and introduced some new characters. We have Woody and the gang. They're still with Bonnie, as Andy passed on his toys to the little girl down the street. And it's been I think a couple years. It's been some time.
I wasn't sure how long it was supposed to be.
Yeah, it's been some time. And Bonnie is now starting kindergarten. And Woody is worried about Bonnie and how she's going to do starting school. And they end up going on a little road trip. The whole gang in the camp, I guess, an RV.
Which most of the gang was in the whole time.
Right.
They really left a lot of people on the sidelines.
So this was
supposed to be a Woody. This was a Woody.
Woody and Bo Peep. This is their story here. Bo Peep, who wasn't in Toy Story 3, was only mentioned, that she wasn't around anymore. We get her backstory of what happened to her.
That's Annie Potts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and some of the original cast of voice actors have passed on since then. Jim Varney and Don Rickles are no longer with us. So
yeah, I heard they salvaged some audio
a little bit
to have Don Rickles in it.
Yeah, a little bit. But like Seth said, they don't have a major part in this. But yeah,
they got to make way for Forky.
Right, we had to make way for Forky.
Which Forky was great.
Forky was great. Bonnie makes, on her first day, she's having a hard time in kindergarten, and they do a craft, and she makes her own little what scraps she has there to use. She makes her own new little toy
out of garbage,
out of the
trash.
He's a spork and some popsicle sticks,
and which would makes for a great gift. I'm trash.
I'm trash.
Yeah.
He was convinced he was trash, and he did not want to be I'm not. He just desperately trying to get to the trash can the whole time. Yeah. It was great.
It was the best part.
It was great. And it was a great just way of doing it. Woody was getting ignored also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's trying to convince Forky that he's not trash, and he's like, no, we're both trash.
So does Woody say you are a toy? That seems like a perfect callback.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
He does tell him that a lot. I don't know whether it's exactly like that, but
so I could have written this movie.
But there was some great. It felt like a little more parenthood movie, like Woody moving on even beyond for his own happiness. What would make him happy?
Right. But I did. I felt like it. I thought it felt like an epilogue to me. But it has a very sweet ending, and on how we, who parts ways, and Woody decides at the very last minute to move on for himself, and he's gonna leave Bonnie behind with the other toys and go on a new adventure. And I really enjoyed that.
So what's Toy Story 5?
You got me. Is it
Andy buys all his toys back on eBay?
Yeah. So
toys that are sealed in plastic and graded, let me out.
Yeah, they're they don't want to be bought or something. They don't know who's somebody's secretly buying these toys. It's on eBay, and then you find out at the end it's Andy's wife or something.
See, we could write these. Come on, it's not that
okay. Hard. I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it.
We all enjoyed it.
Yeah. What else did we watch? Oh, Spider-Man. Is that word?
Let's end on that, since there's probably some spoilers.
Yeah, there's been it's been hard for us to keep up as we've been recording, but there's been a lot of trailers released of upcoming movies at San Diego. Top Gun Maverick.
30+ years of
combat medals, citations. Only man to shoot down 3 enemy planes in the last 40 years. Yet you can't get a promotion, you won't retire. Despite your best efforts, you refuse to die. You should be at least a 2-star admiral by now. Yet here you are. Captain. Why is that?
It's one of life's mysteries, sir.
Tom Cruise was a big surprise guest. Nobody knew he was going to be there, but not only was he there, but he dropped this big trailer.
Did you guys watch the trailer?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you big? I know you're a big Tom Cruise
Every
fan.
Tom Cruise movie is now a Mission Impossible movie, and I'm on board. Hey, man, the Harold Faltermeyer soundtrack, theme playing over that trailer, I was all in.
Yeah, I like Top Gun. Always have. I don't know. I wasn't excited about this movie, though.
Yeah, I'm not over the top, but I'll definitely be seeing this movie.
And a ton of callbacks. Him on the motorcycle. Shots of Goose.
This time it looks like he's really. I'm guarantee he is really flying the F-16 or whatever.
Yeah, he was on. Conan's been doing episodes live from Comic, or not live, but he's on Comic Con, and they showed the trailer. And when they came back, Conan was laughing because during the trailer, he's like, "How'd you do that thing with the G-force?" And he's like, "I was really flying."
Yeah,
he thought it was a special effect. He's like, "No, he's flying this jet."
No doubt, he goes all. That's why he is, the number one action movie star. He does it.
For us.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's like he does it for me.
It Part 2.
Oh, now that's a trailer.
Oh boy.
Did you see the first one?
Yeah, it didn't wow me. So this was the same. I'm sure it'll be good, but it's just not my
kind of. So much better than the old stuff. It was I'm into. I love the cast. I love.
Yeah. But super atmospheric stuff with the balloons coming in. It was very effective.
Very good trailer. I'm excited about that. Have you guys seen anything on Terminator Dark Fate?
Yeah, it looks terrible.
I just was like, why are we making another Terminator?
Every trailer I've seen looks terrible, but I did hear there was a new one with him in it or whatever, Carl or something. He's like, the character's name is Carl or
that Schwarzenegger plays?
I think
I saw him in a trailer. I watched.
I don't know. I must not have seen the latest one, but the one before that with just her and going through the front of the truck and things, and it just looked really CGI and not good.
And they just announced Edward Furlong will be back as John Connor.
See, that sounds cool.
And
I want to like it, but when Linda Hamilton gets out of the truck, I'm just like, ugh. It looks like it just looks it looks like a. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It's too much.
The only real saving grace for me is that, from what I've heard, they're ignoring everything after 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is the continuity. I ignored everything after 2. So I don't care about...
That's a good start.
Time manipulate. They've messed up the timeline so much. So if this is just taking up right after T2, we've got a new kind of half
liquid... We're just going from the thumbs up right into this.
Yeah, we're getting to the new Terminator look like a hybrid out of liquid... body and also a skeleton. So we're getting new Terminators. I'll be interested to watch it. I don't think it'll hold up to the brilliant T2. T2 was on your list. Was that top 100?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Absolutely, one of the best action movies ever. T2.
Also, Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
We got 3 days to get to Hollywood and stop this reboot from ever happening.
Boys, I had a baby. Jay, brace yourself. You're about to meet our love child.
I think I'm gonna need to see a blood test.
No, Jay. This is my daughter, Millennium Falcon.
Can you take us to Hollywood with you?
No, man. It's a tough-ass neighborhood.
Either you take us to Hollywood, or I stab you both to death on my own fucking lawn.
And on that note, we cue the music.
Yeah.
I like these characters, but personally, the last movie they did, Jay and Bob, Silent Bob Strike back or whatever it was.
Time ago.
Did not do anything.
This is kind of tough for me because I loved Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
Those first 3, 4, 5 movies were just amazing. They hit the right time in my life.
Yeah.
Mallrats spoke to me on such a level. And within the last 2 weeks, I'm kind of burning through a lot of my Netflix stuff because I'm going to cancel it here pretty soon. But I watched, because I thought there are Kevin Smith movies out there I haven't seen. And that bugged me. I was such a fan. Like, how are there movies out there of his I have not seen? Yeah. So I watched Tusk.
Yeah.
And I watched Yoga Hosers.
Yeah, right.
Just
both critically panned.
From just an obligation. I had no interest in them, but I just felt surely there's something in this that I'll enjoy. And yes, they're very weird. The one is about a guy turning someone into a walrus. The other is a spin-off of that, starring his daughter and Johnny Depp's daughter as these two convenience store clerks from Canada. And there's a weird sausages that have been mutated into Nazis. Like I get that it's weird and dumb and cult and cheap, and it's all based on a joke from his podcast. Basically, they get high and talk about goofy movie ideas. It's like,
he's like, I'm rich enough, I can make this.
Yeah, so I get all that, and that's not why I didn't like it, but it was just poorly made.
Yeah,
it was just inept, and like he's always the joke. Oh, he's not an action director; he just points the camera and people talk. But it was just bad. And it wasn't funny, and the stuff was just so stale. And Johnny Depp has a cameo as this, like, French detective. So he has makeup on, you don't even really tell it's him. And he lets him talk for 15 minutes. There's an excruciating scene in Tusk that's like, he's funny. It's probably the highlight of the movie, but he knew that, and, like, he couldn't edit any part of it. So it just went on forever. And then he comes back in Yoga Hosers, and it's just basically most of the movie, and it's like, so any affection I have for these characters, and we saw Brody from Mallrats, we saw all these characters, Ben Affleck has a cameo, we saw Matt Damon, like, this should thrill me, but I couldn't work up any excitement for this new iteration, even though it's kind of clever. They're rebooting the Blunt Man and Chronic movie, that's a topical Hollywood joke.
I'll see it. This is I care more about this than I do those other two. Like, I never saw those movies and probably won't ever. But this is back to as close as we're going to get to the old stuff. You know, I loved Mallrats and Clerks, and they'd be early in my top 200. But
yeah, and then finally, the last one I wrote down here, real quick, Cats.
Oh, that was my last one too.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Why would you?
Wow. Wow.
Like, I didn't even know what to say.
And I know it's not for me.
Yeah, I just didn't even bother.
I'm not a Broadway person. I'm not a musical person. I'm not even a cat person. I'm more of a dog person. But I mean, this was.
I'm not even a cat person.
This was insane looking.
Yeah.
And it's big stars.
I
feels like
Judi
a joke.
Dench. And I'm like, why would you do it this way?
It's like, this could have been animated. They could have done voices. Some kind of CGI thing.
They could have.
They don't do that anymore. They're doing the live action version already.
But the faces were horrible.
Oh, it was scary, scary stuff.
And even that stuff. Then we have like Rebel Wilson and James Corden. Like, their only time they're on screen, it's like fat jokes, and they're falling down, and I'm such a fat cat. It's like, it's not even like clever. Oh, it was painful to watch.
Yeah.
Don't go see it.
But the people have the songs. It's a Broadway classic, so if you're...
Well...
Maybe if you can just like listen to the soundtrack and like not visually see what's the monstrosity that's happening.
Unsee it.
Right. Alright, so Bucky was in the store today and informed me that Marvel's Hall H panel was at like 8 o'clock tonight, and we've been recording all night and having technical difficulties, so we have not been around the computer. So I'm sure you all know all this stuff right now, but it's literally breaking. This is hot, fresh news. So we have confirmation for Phase 4.
Yep.
This is, we kind of knew what was coming, but we have dates and we have specific titles for these movies, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
He's scrolling. He's trying to find it.
I think it starts with Black Widow, right? That's going to be your
So we're getting the
comic day.
solo Black Widow movie, May 2020.
Yeah. So this is going
So
to be
that'll be there's nothing between Spider-Man and
seems
Black Widow. That's
crazy.
a long time.
That's what I mean. I feel like they're missing a chance there, but they're going to have that. But it was announced the baddie's going to be Taskmaster, which is great. That sounds great to me. So I definitely want to see that.
Assuming he's like the training the people in the Red Room or whatever that is. So
yeah, he's the one that can do match what anybody else does.
I feel like the time's passed. I feel like we needed a Black Widow movie a couple years ago.
Yeah, they're late, but I'm a little nostalgic for her because of what happened. So I love the character.
Did you pull up the thing, or is that not what you were doing?
I couldn't find it. I was trying.
Sorry, I thought you were looking for it.
Yeah, it says it takes place after Captain America: Civil War.
Okay.
This will reveal the Budapest story that Hawkeye and her have that ongoing joke about. So.
Okay, it looks like after that is the Falcon and Winter Soldier Fall 2020.
And we have confirmation from...
this is on Disney Plus. This is the
series that Falcon will wear the Captain America suit of some sort.
That's cool. I'm excited. That sounds cool. Then we're going to have the Eternals November 6, 2020. Supposedly Angelina Jolie, Richard Madden, Kumail Nanjiani, Brian Tyree Henry, Salma Hayek.
These are been officially?
They're listed. Just announced. They must have come out.
This is hot takes, everybody.
Yeah.
You're getting it live.
Yeah, you better... it sounds like a very serious cast, except for Kumail, but I mean, like, he's been working out and stuff to try to get these big roles. I don't know. I feel the same way as I did for what was Inhumans. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but these are. Before this, I'd never heard of the Eternals.
Chloe Zhao directing. What else did she do? Did she do the writer?
Yeah, I think she was the one that did that. Yeah,
the writer was that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm kind of excited now.
This has to be their biggest gamble.
Yeah,
because even the Guardians, no one's heard of them. Yeah, they were fans of Guardians.
Yeah,
not as
do you
many,
know the characters? Because it lists who people are. Madden is Icarus,
Circe, Apollo, or Icarus.
Yeah, Kumail is Kingo.
Wait, who was Icarus?
Richard Madden. He was on Game of Thrones. Brian Tyree Henry as Phastos, Salma Hayek as Ajak, Leah McHugh as Sprite, Don Lee as Gilgamesh, Angelina Jolie as Athena. I don't know.
I got nothing.
Okay, I never read anything like that, but I'm sure you'll get all kinds of comic books starting for it. Then we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings in 2021. Legend of the Ten Rings. I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Ten Rings is that was the Mandarin and his organization of the terrorism in the Iron Man movie. So yeah.
Aquafina is going to be in that, which I can't wait to see that movie. The Farewell. It's out in theaters now, but not around here. But if you hear the movie The Farewell, I'm hearing great buzz about it. Kind of a funny / serious role from her. Again, a comedian doing something serious, so it's probably good. So I'm looking forward to Shang-Chi. I never really read any.
He was always a cool guest star to show up, but I can't say I've read a ton of his solo stuff.
Let's see. Then we got WandaVision on the Disney Plus in spring 2021. This is Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, Teyana Paris. Is this play one of the kids? I'm assuming this will probably reflect off of that Vision series that didn't Tom King did that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds. See, I'm not over the top, but I kind of. Oh no, Paris. This Teyana Paris is going to play Monica Rambeau, who was introduced in Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Loki, spring 2021, also on Disney Plus.
Skip May 2021.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have it on this list.
Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
Which the thing I read today was talking about, like, the original screenwriters of Doctor Strange wanted to go all out, and it's like, we should probably keep it simple in this first one. So, like, Doctor Strange was crazy, so I don't know what they had planned.
Yeah.
So whatever craziness they had planned, it's going to be bigger than the first one, I'm sure.
Yeah.
A bizarre title, though. I don't know that Marvel needs a multiverse at this point.
Well, after Spider-Man,
but
they put it out there.
This is going to have a lot of Scarlet Witch in it. That's what I'm seeing here.
There's a what if?
Well, but Loki, we had Loki was spring. Right. Tom Hiddleston. So they're going to have probably whatever happened from that Endgame timeline where they created, where he took off
with the Tesseract.
Yeah. So that's how he's alive again, or whatever. Where did he go with the space stuff?
Which then probably leads to the next thing. We guess the What If series.
Right.
Could be Loki messing with the timeline. It could be him causing chaos through the multiverse.
With Jeffrey Wright as the voice of the Watcher. Yeah. And then it says many actors from across the MCU reprising their roles as voice talent.
See, that's fun that these guys, that didn't used to be that way. Like the big movie stars wouldn't, deign
nowadays movie stars want TV shows.
Yeah.
And then we have in fall Hawkeye. That's 2021. We're talking over 2 years from now. With Jeremy Renner, and they will introduce a Kate Bishop, whoever they have by then. So this will be a Hawk Guy. I hope they call it Hawk Guy, like the Matt Fraction series. And I don't know if there was anything else. Was there? Thor, Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Thor: Love
So
and Thunder.
Taika
November
Waititi
5th.
is back to direct this, and he brought out Natalie Portman on stage.
This is exciting.
And she gets her own hammer.
Yeah, she's going to be Lady Thor. Odin does not like a Lady Thor.
Wow.
Yeah, she's. That's. I was like, what gets her to come back? That gets her to come back.
Yeah. That she's not just the damsel in distress.
She gets to do the comic book. I am Thor. And he's still going to be there. I like Tess Thompson. This is with Taika. I'm all in. Yeah. And I hate to admit, I was a little disappointed with Taika's Ragnarok. I liked it, but it got almost too silly for me. So I almost feel like if he reined it back just slightly and let her be a serious character, like I want a serious Jane Foster Thor. Mm-hmm. So as much as when I first saw this list half hour ago, I wasn't super excited, but reading some of these details, I'm in.
Hearing Love and Thunder, like, what does that mean? But the more I think about it, Love and Thunder, like, what a great title,
right? Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I love it.
Love.
Yeah, so far I haven't seen any though. We mentioned Guardians 3, Black Panther 2.
Yeah, where is Guardians 3? If it's after all that, my mind's blown.
But where's Black Panther 2 and Captain Marvel 2? Like, I feel like they're leaving some major stuff
and
out here.
Zero mention of any of the new, there's no Fantastic Four, no X-Men.
Yeah.
I didn't assume news at this point for any of that stuff, but no huge surprise coming out of there.
If I don't die now, I gotta wait a long time. Anyway, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Originally I was thinking there's not much out there, but this isn't like a lot of stuff we didn't know of, but it's presented with a little more detail that kind of gets me a little excited. So,
and there's probably more by the time you hear this. I'm sure we didn't get all the news because we're just trying to catch up on it. So this is just our initial hot take.
One little quick movie thing: if you right now airing on CNN, by the time you hear this, there's been 3 episodes. And I don't even know how many there are, but they're kind of doing each decade of movies. They've got a lot of movie creators on there commenting about some of their favorite movies they've, over the decades. They've done the 80s. Last week was the 90s. This week will be the 2000s to today. And I've enjoyed it. It doesn't go very deep, but it does cover a lot of the classic movies that, you should check out,
Yeah, it's very fast, and that Tom Hanks was really good in this role, and then he did this movie, and then it turned to this movie, and then remember that genre movie was popular too, and it's just like, whoa, slow down. But you got a lot of talking heads from very famous people, so it's been worth a watch.
Okay, and then at this point, if you have not seen Spider-Man: Far From Home, you might want to turn out or fast forward, because I'm sure we're going to drop some spoilers all about this new Spider-Man movie.
Everywhere I go, I see his face. I just really miss him.
Yeah, I miss him too. I don't think Tony would have done what he did if he didn't know that you were going to be here after he was gone.
You gonna be the next Iron Man now?
Well, no, I don't have time. I'm too busy doing your jobs.
What?
I'm kidding. Look, keep up the good work. Because I am going on vacation.
Heads up, Nick Fury's calling you.
I don't really want to talk to Nick
Answer
Fury.
the phone.
Why?
Because if you don't talk to him, then I have to talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. You sent Nick Fury to voicemail?
I gotta go.
You do not ghost Nick Fury.
What up, dorks? What's up? We're just talking about the trip.
I'm here in St. Marco Polo's.
Oh, I think MJ really likes me. That reminds me when I first fell in love.
You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man. This is Mr. Beck.
We could have used someone like you on my world.
Your world?
Beck is from Earth, just not ours. The snap tore a hole in our dimension.
You're saying there's a multiverse?
We have a job to do, and you're coming with us.
The finale of the first portion of Marvel movies. The Infinity Saga. This was kind of the epilogue to everything since Iron Man.
This is
fallout of Endgame.
That was why I went and saw it.
Oh, I didn't even know you saw it. My mind's blown.
Yeah, I only went Tuesday $5 night.
Wow.
This was amazing. It opened on Tuesday. It was a holiday week, July 4th.
This was the perfect...
This movie dropped on Tuesday. I thought it came out on... I can see a movie for cheap on the night it opens. I'm in.
Wow. That was kismet. So here we go. What'd you think?
That's a long time ago. It was a while ago. So director John Watts.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Holland is back. He's been signed for 8,000 movies. He's going to be in everything Marvel puts out. People love him. He's a good Peter Parker.
He's a young Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. I've ever since Civil War, when they first brought him out, and everyone went crazy for him. I like him. I do like him. And I like these movies because I like the high schoolish stuff. I like the lower stakes. But he's still not... he's still... I don't want to bag on him. Yeah, he's fine. He's just a very young Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's actually exactly... I thought the whole movie felt a little kiddie.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's probably was the intent, but that was where it was lacking for me.
I've got some problems with it, but none of them have to do with Holland as an actor or performer.
No.
Like,
he's good.
It's the way they're presenting him.
Yeah.
So I don't put any blame on him. I think
he's good.
He's done it excellent. But we get this movie, if you're just a Spider-Man fan and you weren't invested in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like, this movie had a lot of weight to carry after Endgame. We had to explain what they call the blip. We know as the snap, Thanos, but you never thought of that. No, how would they know he snapped his fingers? It's a blip. Everybody blipped away. So
blip.
We learn what happened with the blip. We learn that the people came back 5 years later, and society didn't somehow collapse. Like, everyone just kind of picked up where they left off. You might have to suspend disbelief a little bit that, like, oh, wait, for 5 years we've been living on this sustainable Earth, and then now we have twice the amount of people.
Yeah.
But that's fanboy nonsense. Why would I even bring that up?
You're a real killjoy.
So yeah, if you weren't up on all the happenings of Endgame, you'd probably still enjoy this, but it relies a lot on what's come before. Like all these Marvel movies.
Got a lot of weight.
It's stacked up on top of the other.
Tony Stark is still, even dead, I'm the hero. Isn't that what he says? The Edith?
Yeah, but it's Tony Stark screwing up again. Him creating something that goes bad and nearly kills everybody. So
right.
Tony Stark once again.
Tell me what movie I'm talking about. Someone that worked for Tony Stark or, is not happy. They're disgruntled. Which movie is that?
Oh,
Spider-Man 1, 2, Iron Man 3. Finally he's dead.
But even in death, he's still creating trouble.
Still.
Yeah, the Tony Stark stuff was actually what I liked about the movie.
Yeah,
anything that, I don't know.
You didn't like the Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Take the Spider-Man out of the movie, we got something here, guys. No, I liked seeing Happy in the movie, and I liked the villain. Yeah. I thought Mysterio was really good. I thought it was neat how they updated it, but kept it pretty much the classic story. Jake Gyllenhaal was good.
It would put a better impact if you didn't know what Mysterio's deal was, because a lot relied on that for quite a ways into the movie.
Yeah, I don't want to be that. What they should have done was, but there's no tension there. Even if you don't know the comics, this guy in a suit, he's a villain.
Yeah.
Or even in, the press tour, welcome Jake Gyllenhaal playing the villain Mysterio. They just presented it as that. Oh, who's going to be the big bad guy in this one? Oh, it's Jake Gyllenhaal, I heard. So, there was never any pretext of hiding that fact.
Well, that's because what they were hiding was the great performance by Peter Billingsley and returning from Iron Man. And that was probably my most excited thing about the movie. I was like, oh my gosh, there's Peter Billingsley. And then they mentioned him, and I was like, yeah, he was an Iron Man. I love that.
All these people that work for this troupe of people working for him and his effects team that blindly agree with everything he's doing, is kind of strange. They're okay with just... Are they all so disgruntled that they're going to follow this madman into murdering?
I don't mind... Yeah, because we all love Tony, but I don't mind him. He would be a divisive figure, like Elon Musk or Bill Gates. There are people who he's the villain of their story. He's screwed some things up for people. He's stepped over people. He's done things people don't like. So I'm okay with Tony not being a saint.
I mean, the plan obviously had fault in itself, but he wasn't. I didn't think they portrayed Mysterio himself. He wasn't a madman in the movie at all.
But yeah, in the comics, he is a special effects artist,
right?
Who turns to villainy and robs banks, and it's that wouldn't work in today's society. Today. So, to me, that was the best. When they announced Mysterio, I was worried. He's a cool classic villain, but he's so silly, silly looking, silly acting. But to make him tied into the Stark Industries. Gyllenhaal was terrific.
Oh yeah,
I think that was as good as Mysterio could be on the screen.
Totally agree.
But I think they missed an opportunity of having that twist where it is literally a third of the movie they're portraying him as the good guy, and you're the whole time well, when are we going to learn that it's all fake? He's lying. He's not from another dimension. If you know literally anything about the movie you're walking into, this twist is coming.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time to get there. My thought was introduce him as Wonder Man or something. Hey, I'm a new hero here to save the day. And then when you twist it, my name's Quentin Beck. You're holy crap, that was Mysterio. Then it would be a twist. If you introduce it as a team up buddy movie, then there's an actual twist, because this was not a twist. But I still liked Gyllenhaal so much. He was charming and also threatening. He was scary.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
How's this Zendaya working out for you guys in these movies? Because she really just
you don't like her?
No, I like her in other stuff.
I like the this stuff with the friends and things. I really enjoyed it keeping it high school because none of the other ones do that. So I like him being in high school and all the friends' interactions and them traveling around together, and Martin Starr, chaperoning, and I liked all of that, and she did a good job. It was they had like the there's so many Easter eggs they put through there, but I have it, that issue I put on our thing the other day that Amazing Spider-Man 143 was on a license plate, and I'm like, I'll pull that out, and it's like, well, they're in Paris and they're fighting the Cyclone, and this issue has she kisses him goodbye before he goes there and stuff.
Yeah, I feel bad. The last couple Comic Cons I've gone to, every booth has had Hydro Man comics and Molten Man comics. Those were the hottest things.
Yeah.
They're going to be the villains in this new movie. Come get your first appearance of Hydro Man. And the people walking out of this movie don't know the word Hydro Man.
Right.
So these poor vendors trying to cash in on a hot streak.
Yeah.
Not good. But I liked MJ more in this one than I did the last one.
Mm-hmm.
She's not my MJ. We'll get that out of the way. But she's good. That she plays really well against him. And I love the awkwardness of it. Like that kiss between them was such a high school kiss. It was not upside down in the rain with Kirsten Dunst. It was not like movie star quality. It was like an awkward, geeky kiss, and it was adorable.
Yeah, and she's a strong character that isn't relying on just doesn't just love Peter Parker. I like that, and I like the thing at the end. It's such a we were talking about this the other day, how you won't be able to trust anything you see from this day on as far as video. Our kids will never be able to trust any video as reality that they see because of effects, and Mysterio is able to make it look like Spider-Man is a bad guy, and it's like you can't trust it. It's like, wow, it's a good reflection on today. But and then bringing back the shock value of having J.K. Simmons back as J. Jonah Jameson.
My crowd was really into that.
Yeah.
Got a good response. Yeah. It seems a little early to me to go that route, revealing his identity or sending him on the run or something.
The only reason they did that was to mirror Iron Man
Starr.
1.
Yeah.
I did I went back the next day. Homecoming was on Free Stars or whatever. I watched that. I was like, well, I feel like I like that one better, and I do. I like Homecoming better. Michael Keaton's better. It's just a tighter. It's less sloppy of a story, and I like that Vulture character better. But I forget what I was going to say. What were we?
Rewatched Homecoming.
Yeah, before that. Sorry.
The twist of him revealing his identity.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Anyway, I liked Homecoming better. I enjoyed that a lot more. But I did like this.
I feel like, again, in our Ka-Pow fashion, we're complaining a lot about a movie we all thought was pretty good.
The moral of the story is I liked it.
But I had problems with it that I can't get over, and I hear the Poobah's voice in my head sitting in the theater of our movies are over.
Yeah.
This is the start of someone else's era. And all the great stuff I wanted out of movies, this is teenage Peter Parker. And this is, I say it as a joke, but I honestly mean it. It's not my Peter Parker. It's not the things I connect to in Peter Parker, the things I love the most about Spider-Man. This is a different character. It is, and I love the tie to Iron Man. I love that he looks up to Tony as a science nerd. That's right in the wheelhouse. But we don't have an Uncle Ben. We have Uncle Tony. His whole thing is, what would Tony think of what I'm doing? And that doesn't work for me. I know
because he
Robert
didn't
Downey
wrong Tony. He did,
Robert Downey Jr. is the center of the universe. I know this, even after he's dead. But we gotta let it go at some point.
Right.
Not everything can be about Tony. So having this rich Uncle Tony and we've skipped all the stuff that I love, the blue collarness. He's winging off to Europe. Spider-Man's always worried about paying the bills and Aunt May's medicine and all this stuff. And, like, Peter Parker would never have to worry about money a day in his life. He can get all this technology. He doesn't have to... his web shooters. He ran out of web fluid because he couldn't afford the stuff. No, he has the top-of-the-line technology. He can get Happy on the phone and get a jet somewhere. Like, it just takes away a core relatability thing for me of the everyman hero, the blue-collar hero, and the weight of the world hero, the great power, great responsibility hero. To me, Spider-Man, he took off his mask way too much. Again, Bucky was telling me there's somebody did a counter from the first time Tom Holland appeared of like how many people know his secret identity,
right?
And it's like way too many. So yeah, Spider-Man, it's him. He is the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. He is a man alone. He can't share this burden with other people because he has the responsibility through this great power. Aunt May knowing he's Spider-Man just takes something core out of it. Of like, just high five and good luck, Spider-Man. Like, he has this shame of it's his fault Uncle Ben died. If Aunt May knew, it would break her heart. And he doesn't know if she could accept him anyway. Like, there's just all this depth and context to it that is missing from all this. And it's replacing it with this, like, he's Tony Stark Jr. He's like an Instagram influencer. He's posting selfies like, hey, everybody. Which, yes, Spider-Man always has that confidence when he's in the mask. But there's just the thing I love about Spider-Man that, like, this is my fight, and I'm doing it alone, and I'll fight to the death if I have to. That just, when he has this whole support team, he has S.H.I.E.L.D., he has Nick Fury, he has Happy Hogan, he has Stark Industries. That's something is off about that to me. And I thought the movie was wonderful, but again, it's a different Spider-Man. It's a different generation of Spider-Man.
I'm hoping that they can get some of that back. I don't know how. What I was going to say before I forgot was at the end of Homecoming, Tony's going to announce him as an Avenger and bring him out to the press, and he says, "No, I'd rather be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." And that's what we want. And then
that whole movie is about overcoming. Like, you don't need all this tech to save the day. And I'm kind of going back on it. And
then beginning of this movie, after all the Infinity stuff, now it starts out he's out there doing in front of the crowd. He's a big time guy, and he wants out of that. He wants a break. So where do we think it's going to go from here?
That ending threw me for a loop with the Skrulls and Nick Fury on the spaceship. Like, I don't know what that means, where that leads us. I don't know what. I was like very confused by it.
Yeah, Nick Fury's kind of. I felt like it was leading into Captain Marvel too, but more than anything,
I'm not a fan of the funny Skrulls. Like,
and it took away. Like, Nick Fury was a big part of this movie. But, like, no, he wasn't. Like, when you rewatch it, it's not Nick Fury.
I felt, it's so stupid to say now, but through the whole thing, I was like, that's weird that he just, it didn't act.
He did seem off. Yeah. Now it explains why he was off, but I'm just like, whatever. That's a twist that didn't even need to be. But what do you think happens in the next one? Like, people know who he is. I think a possibility for a villain, what makes sense to me if they could go into some Kraven.
Ooh.
And I think that's now that we know who Peter Parker is, someone wants to hunt him down.
Yeah, there we go.
No, I don't know how well Kraven fits into today's whole thing there with the costume with the.
I think it brings it back down.
Lion head split down the middle on your chest.
I think it tampers it back down to the streets and. You get, how's it anybody but Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
I don't know.
Get him in there, hunting down Spider-Man, doing Kraven's Last Hunt. Come on.
I think it should be Jamie Foxx.
Whatever. Okay, that sounds cool too.
My first thought was Dolph Lundgren, but
oh yeah, there we go. And if he dies, he dies.
That's pretty dark. After two very kid-friendly movies, a Kraven's Last Hunt movie might be a little,
awesome.
A little too dark.
I just think it makes sense plot-wise. Yeah. So he's exposed, hunt him down.
Yeah, I like the Tony Stark stuff. I like the Happy stuff. All the supporting characters. Zendaya just doesn't, in this role, doesn't do much for me. Especially now that I've been watching Euphoria on HBO, and it
I haven't watched that yet.
Yeah, you look at her a different way. But I liked all that stuff. But yeah, it's just, I don't know.
I like it. I thought it needed some of that awkward feel, like you're saying, and they pull that off. I mean, they are good at being awkward around each other. It was good.
Yeah, and
overall, I like it. Also, I freaking love Spider-Man's the thing. Like, I love Spider-Man, so I was happy with it. I might be a little more picky than I want to be, but because I feel like that same thing you're feeling. But still, it's like, man, they're doing a pretty good job, The villains are good.
It fits right in the Marvel universe. It's right on par with all the other ones. He is excellent. The action's terrific. We're just spoiled. We have so much good stuff. We can say, well, it's not my preferred version. And then you'll get arguments online of like, well, that's not true to the comics about Spider-Man. It's like, well, everything. Spider-Man's been around 60 years. Like,
yeah, true to what?
Everything.
Which version?
Yeah, there's been versions of every kind. There's been rich celebrity Spider-Man. He owned Parker Industries and was a billionaire. Like, he's well traveled. Like,
right.
You can't say, I said I would prefer a different take on it, but I can't say they did it wrong. They're just doing a different version. So.
Man, you know what makes me mad? So we talked about comics earlier in this, and we didn't talk about Spider-Man Life Story.
Spider-Man Life Story.
The best comic of the year. I know you don't agree. That's why I keep saying that. But,
I like it.
But we'll wait until the last issue comes out to go through it.
One more to
But oh my gosh, I love that 5th issue and the ridiculous. I'm like, they're really full because this happened at that time. It's so. I never would have guessed that that's what it was going to be, and they're just totally over the top, and I love it. So we will be talking about that again.
And there's been good stuff lately in Amazing Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. They're both having real strong runs right now. So if you like Into the Spider-Verse, if you like these movies with Tom Holland, like it's never been a better time to read some Spider-Man books because and they've been reprinting the older stuff. So there's plenty to choose from out there.
I don't know if you've heard of him, but Spider-Man's pretty good. I think we did it.
All right. Whew. Thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Thwip.
Yeah. I watched that and Shazam this week, and I'm giving some big thwips up to Spider-Man.
That'll be on the Patreon version. Seth's unfiltered opinions on Shazam.
A big Shazam turd.
I like Shazam way better than I like Spider-Man.
Save it for the patrons. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for checking us out on social media.
Yeah,
wherever those are,
all those places.
All those places. You found us. You know where we are. You've listened to this.
This is where we're at. If you made it this far.
Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed a wonderful Comic-Con weekend. Thanks for listening. My name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth O'Man. Bye forever.
See you at River City Comic Arts Festival, July 28th.
It's the least you can do.
Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com.